Hey everyone, welcome back to DIY Beauty on Purpose. My name is Leonette and I'm so excited that you are here with me today. High-end dupes using Dollar Tree items. This is what I have for you on this episode, so let's get started. The first thing I want to do is stain these flat dowels that I get on Amazon. They are linked down below in the description box. And the first stain that I was using was just not doing it. It's supposed to be like a weathered oak stain. It was just not doing it. So I grabbed this Briar Smoke by Vermilion and that did it. So it gave it a darker tone look. And so half of the DIYs today are going to have this tone as the trim. And then the other half is going to have this golden oak tone that it's also by Vermilion. And I just get them at Home Depot. So once I had a stain, I'm just going to put them to the side. And here's the first inspiration is this Welcome to the Porch sign that is $68 at Antique Farmhouse. Antique Farmhouse, they have beautiful decor. Check it out. I do have their link down below in the description box. So we're going to start with this Dollar Tree Christmas sign that I have left over. I took everything from it and I sanded down the back or the front side, but it will be the back side. Then the back side I painted using Rust-Oleum chalk paint and the linen white, and I gave it 2 coats. On the front side, which will be the back side, I'm just gonna glue some craft paper just to clean it up. But the back side will actually be the front side, which is the painted side now. Using my Cricut, I cut out the phrase Welcome to the Porch using fonts that very closely match what the original piece looked like. Now, if you do not have a cutting machine, I actually have this design now available on my Etsy shop. So go ahead and check it out. It is linked down below along with all kinds of farmhouse style decals. So once again, it's linked down below. Check it out. All right, so I stenciled it using a makeup sponge and Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the charcoal gray. Now I'm going to freehand the little branches that it has on each side of the words. I love freehanding. It just relaxes me and it's just one of my favorite things to do. I am using this green that is actually from Bear. It's a chalked line by Bear, and it's a beautiful green. And then I'm going to use a lighter green to kind of give it a highlight and just highlight certain areas. I love doing these dupes, and you know who actually does a lot of dupes is Yami from the Latina Next Door. She has the Look for Less challenge, and I'm going to have her channel linked down below. Again, is the Latina Next Door, and if you do not follow her, I encourage you. She has great dupes. All right, and now it's time to add the trim. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the dowels that are now dry, and I'm going to mark, cut, and hot glue. The shears that I am using are also from Amazon, and I do have them on my Amazon store. They're fantastic to cut dowels, whether it's flat ones or round ones. It does a really good job. And the hot glue was actually sufficient to hot glue them, but you can use like a stronger glue, maybe E6000 or anything like that. But the hot glue in this case really did the work well. So I'm just going to trim the whole thing, and then we are about to be done. Right, so here's a reminder of what the original piece looked like for $68, and here's what mine looks like using a $1.25 sign from the Dollar Tree and some items I had on hand. Love it. If you enjoy DIY home decor, make sure you subscribe to our channel. I post every single week, so make sure you hit that notification bell as well so you don't miss any of the content. The next inspiration is this Start Each Day with the Grateful Heart sign, again from Antique Farmhouse, and it was $48. And we're going to use this Dollar Tree fall sign that I had left over. Same thing, I removed everything from it, sanded down the back, I covered it with craft paper, and then the back side I painted twice with Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white. Now we're going to plank it using a permanent marker. This is actually a gray one, and I'm just going to do planks maybe about 2 inches wide, and then I'm going to add some distress marks using a chippy brush as well as some dark gray chalk paint, and then I'm going to sand everything down using my palm sander and a 160 grit sandpaper. This is to distress everything and kind of soften it. This carbon paper I get on Amazon. It is also in my Amazon store. It comes with the little tracing tools, which is really cool. And I actually just printed the design on regular paper. Now, the grateful part I had to do on my Cricut because our printer is connected to my husband's computer and his computer did not have this particular font. So it was changing it for us and it was just not working out. So I ended up having to just use my Cricut. But for the rest, I am going to show you how you can do signs without having a cutting machine. So I just placed the kind of where the words are going to go with tape, and then the carbon paper is going to go in between, and then I'm just going to trace it using the tracing tool. And then I'm going to remove the paper, then place the other set of words where they need to go, place the carbon paper, and trace. Does that make sense? You're going to keep seeing it here, and it's really, really easy to recreate. And if my husband's computer would have had the font for the grateful, I would have done the grateful the same exact way. The beautiful thing about this carbon paper is that it lasts you a while. It has 200 sheets, so I'm going to reuse the one I just used. So I just place it back in the baggie, and that's it. All right, so I'm going to use a permanent black marker, and I'm just going to trace over the words. And this is how easy it is to recreate if you do not have a cutting machine. It's just another way you can make your own signs. So once I had it all traced, now it's time to once again trim it out and give it a frame look. This is going to be with that golden oak finish, and I'm just going to start with both top and bottom and then add the sides. And then I decided to kind of dry brush a little bit of the words to kind of give it a little bit more of a maybe like distressed look, but the original had that look. So let me show you what the original looked like. It's a beautiful sign for $48 at Antique Farmhouse, and this is mine. I think it turned out super beautiful. I love the technique of using carbon paper because it's so easy and so fast. For our next inspiration is this Let's Cuddle sign, again from Antique Farmhouse. This sign was $59, and we are going to use another Dollar Tree Christmas sign that I had left over. I'm going to remove everything from it once again. I covered the back using some craft paper, and I did cut off about 1.5 inches from one side just to make it a little shorter. I sanded it down after I scored it and snapped it, and then again the back side I just painted twice with Rust-Oleum chalk paint. Now here I am using my yardstick to kind of trace a very, very light line. This is to help me have a guide because I'm going to freehand the words. So I am just going to do it with pencil first, just very carefully using as close as a font as I can by doing it by hand. And I think it turned out okay. You're going to have to let me know what you think. And also with the Let's. And then all I did was grab some Rust-Oleum chalked paint in the coastal blue and a detail brush, and I just traced the word using the paint. And then I used a smaller detail brush to do the Let's. Now the original piece also had that hand, like traced hand painted look. So I think it turned out super cool. All right, so once again, we're just gonna trim this one using the golden oak tone. We're gonna use the same technique. We're just gonna measure, cut, hot glue it, and then that's it. And I am going to remind you what the original looked like again. It's a beautiful sign. I really love it. And then this is what mine looks like using a $1.25 board. I think it turned out super cool. I love, love, love freehanding this one. It's so satisfying. The next inspiration from Antique Farmhouse is this hope sign that they have online. It is $30, and I'm going to recreate it once again with a Dollar Tree sign. This is a Easter one. I'm going to remove everything from it, including these little tiny bunny buns or tails, I should say. And then I'm going to fill in the holes using some spackle just so that they're not there. And then the back side, we are going to give it 2 coats of Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white. And then once again, we are going to plank this one using wider planks, and again using my permanent gray marker. This time I'm going to use the Mod Podge technique, and I'm just going to cut out the words. I printed it in a regular printer paper and using an inkjet printer. Now the P, I forgot to mirror it, so I'm just going to cut it, and then you're going to see how I'm going to put it together so that it kind of looks backwards, but then you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so now I'm going to add some Mod Podge to the side of the ink. So on the side that has the ink, we're going to add Mod Podge, and then we're going to place the letters where they go. Now, I think this one was a hot mess, okay? This one did not at all turn out the way I wanted it to. I don't know if it was because I didn't add enough Mod Podge. I also did not seal my board before I added the words with the Mod Podge. I don't know what I was thinking, but it was a hot mess. But I wanted to leave it so that you can learn from it, because I know I learned a lot from it. And that way you also know that not everything turns out beautiful, right? So I'm going to leave this dry for about 4 hours. Maybe that was another thing. Normally I leave it for about 24 hours or at least overnight. So here I am. I have a damp towel, and I'm going to start removing the back paper. So the white paper should remove, and then the black ink should stay on the board. The problem was that it wasn't. The black ink was actually removing right off of it. And then I thought, oh, it's okay. It's just going to give it a distressed look, which, by the way, the original had. The problem is it was a lot of it coming off, like a lot. And then not only was the ink coming off, the paint was rubbing off because I didn't seal the board. And on top of it, what should be a permanent gray marker was not permanent enough because it was erasing as I was rubbing. At this point, I am like, should I just quit and try something else? And I said, nope, let me try to fix it. So I grabbed a detail angled brush and some really dark gray chalk paint. And I'm going to try to fix these letters and try to hand paint them. And it was okay. It kind of got a little better, but in all honesty, they were not perfect at all. And so I'm going to have you here look at what the original looked like. So do you see how I had that distressed look? And that's kind of like what gave me some hope. But in all reality, it was just not doing it for me. Nonetheless, I am going to try to paint the little areas where the paint actually lifted up just to kind of fix it and give it a little bit more of a finished look. I'm also going to take the permanent marker and my square once again and finish off those lines that actually rubbed off with the wet rag. And again, in the effort of trying to really fix this sign. And of course, we got it still trim it. So I am going to trim it using the darker Briar Smoke trim. Once again, we're just going to measure, hot glue, and then that's it. So you're gonna have to let me know. I do not like it. I think it just looks messy and it's just not what I like to do. But here's the original once again, and then here's what mine looks like. Yeah. It's a hot mess, but let me know in the comments, what do you think about it, and what do you think about overall over the other ones? It was a great savings. We saved a lot of money by recreating it using Dollar Tree items, and you're gonna have to let me know. So if you are visiting for the first time, welcome. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it inspires you to create your own high-end decor. And if you're coming back, thank you so much. I do have a playlist here with tons more of inspiration for you, as well as another Dupes video. Check them out. I'll see you later and have a blessed day. Bye.